Hello, I'm Sparkles the Cat, and I'll be doing top 10 free games on Steam. This is the first video of this kind I've ever done, but I hope it won't be the last. Today I'm going to be going over games that I've spent a lot of time on and I think others should play as well. These games range from being popular to fairly unknown, but they are all good games. With that out of the way, let's start the video. So the 10th game on our list is 404 Sight, made and published by Retro Yeti Games. It is a game made back in 2015 during the net neutrality debacle and has you play as someone traveling through the internet. It is a third-person parkour game with some amazing music. The gameplay starts off simple with some basic abilities, but soon gets involved and very fun to play. While the graphics are nothing special, they look quite nice for a free game. This is a short one and can be beaten in around an hour. The 9th game on our list is Defiance, and is a third-person shooter MMO released in 2014 and both developed and published by Tryon Worlds. This is a good game to play from time to time and is fairly easy to leave and get back into because it's not very complex and has enough personality to make it stand out. This is your standard MMO experience except for the fact that you use guns and a few basic abilities. The graphics are very okay and is not very colorful, with mostly brown and gray like a lot of sci-fi games from that era. It supports a huge map and you can go off and do your own things fairly quickly. The gameplay itself is nothing crazy, but it feels nice to run around and shoot the local population of aliens and mutants. The game still gets updates to this day.
Looks like you won this round.
I'm glad you came to help me.
Something doesn't seem right here. Stay on your toes.
A little help here?
Thank you. It's great to be free.
Thanks. I'm a miner, not a merc.
The 8th game on our list is The Walking Zombie 2, released on Steam in 2019 and developed and published by All the Games. This title is actually a port of a mobile game of the same name. While it keeps a few of its mobile elements like the fuel system, it is super forgiving and I've never found myself to run out of fuel. This is a zombie survival game that has a goofy story and makes quite a few jokes about pop culture and media of this genre. The shooting in this game is very standard for a voxel shooter, and the combat never really gets very in-depth, but doing quests for people and traveling the world of this game is very fun and a fun game to sink a couple of hours into when you're bored. The 7th game on our list is Counter-Strike Global Offensive. This is a first-person tactical shooter game released in 2012 by Valve. This is by far one of the biggest games on my list, and the reason I have it so low is that it's not a very great casual experience. There's a large assortment of guns to choose from depending on which team you're on, either the terrorists or the counter-terrorists. Each team is 5 players and must earn cash by playing rounds, killing enemies, or completing the objective, which for terrorists is planting a bomb on either points A or B, or by eliminating all the opposing side. While for counter-terrorists, they can win by either eliminating the opposing team, making sure the bomb is not planted before the round ends, or defusing the bomb if the bomb is planted and making sure it does not detonate. This game has a huge competitive following and is a huge esports game.
Bomb has been planted.
The 6th game on our list is VR Chat, released in 2017 by VR Chat Inc. This is a social game where you can explore developer and community-created worlds with a custom avatar of your choice. This game can be played both in VR and by using a mouse and keyboard, and the fun of the game comes from seeing other people's wacky avatars and meeting new people. There are a few games that you can play, like a Western-themed shooter. There is generally no goal to the game other than to meet new people and to have fun.
You don't have to mess with the wires that hang out of your headset. That's easily annoying in games like Pavlov or Onward.
Oh, yeah, I don't have the super beefy VR PC, but that I'd like to experience virtual reality.
Be happy because VR computer.
The fifth game on our list is Paladins, a game released in 2018 and developed by Evil Mojo Games and published by Hi-Rez Studios. At first glance, this game seems like an Overwatch clone, but the only similarities are that it's a hero shooter with a cartoony art style. What makes this game stand out is the large roster of heroes and the inclusion of cards, which you can use on each champion and create a deck for them. They're all default decks if you're not interested in that thing, but there's a lot of customization to be had. The other inclusion is the ability to earn cash throughout the game and spend it on upgrades from the spawn room, and you can upgrade your stuff like health, reload speed, and even movement speed, among other things. The game is really fast-paced and has an active community to play with, and is worth something checking out if you're looking for a hero shooter to play.
Doom approaches. Say your prayers.
The fourth game on our list is EVE Online, an MMO released way back in 2003 and made by CCP. This game has stood the test of time and is still very popular. The idea of this game is basically everything in it is player made. You can get many ships and tweak them however you like and engage in space combat, the story, or even buy and sell things in the in-game market. There are many occupations you can have, and with the focus on players making most things, there are many factions and even more actual wars have occurred within the game, with real people being soldiers, in the game mind you. The largest war to occur in the game was from January 27th through 28th, 2014. There were thousands of players in this section of space within those days, and by the end of the war, over $300,000 of real-world money was used for the war, that being calculated using the game's premium currency, which can be used with the game's main currency, ISK. This game requires a lot of time and dedication, and is very technical, but if you put in the time, it could be one of the most interesting games you will ever play.
Approaching Stargate. Autopilot jumping.
Our third game is Destiny 2, made by Bungie and released in 2016. This is a first-person looter shooter where you choose between 3 classes and grind for loot, armor, and weapons. The game has a very dedicated PvP and PvE community and went free to play just last year. When it was first released, it was a AAA game. The amount of content in this game is staggering, and you can get even more by buying the expansion packs from Forsaken onward. What you get for free is the base game and the first 2 expansions, but the rest are paid for, and so far are all worth it. This is a game that you can complex as you want it, and you can get the perfect rolls in your weapons or armor, or maybe even learn about the very deep and rich lore of the Destiny universe, with the stories always being expanded on. This is a AAA game that is free and so much to do. This is definitely one to check out.
You know, Cayde got stuck stealing from the Vex. Why didn't that happen to the Red Legion?
Calculating Red Legion similarity to the Cayde 6.0001%.
The second game on our list is Team Fortress 2, a game released in 2007 by Valve. This is a first-person class-based shooter with 9 classes for you to play as, all with interesting personalities. This game is legendary, and so are the cinematics that Valve have put out for this game. And even more, in the game is even more dress-up than anything. There's a lot of cosmetics to don your character of choice, and there are also a lot of weapons for each class that drastically change how they play. This is a game that still tops the charts of Steam to this day, though the big updates are few and far between. The first and final game on my list is Warframe. This is a third-person looter shooter made in 2013 by Digital Extremes. This game is constantly getting big updates and has a huge community, with one of the nice communities I've ever met to boot. This game has you play as a Tenno, with a suit of armor called a Warframe, and you collect over 40 Warframes at the time of writing, all with different abilities and uses, along with a primary weapon, secondary, and a melee. Every weapon also has much depth to them, and they are very different types within those categories. What is very special about the game is not only the setting, which lets you travel across the entire solar system, but is that your Warframe and weapons all have slots for cards, which you can collect from enemies and random loot you find throughout doing missions and playing through the planets. And those cards allow you to increase specific stats of what you're using, like maybe increasing health or shields, heat resistance, or maybe doing specific damages type of weapons. This is something that is very special and I think is deserving to be the best free game on Steam.
First target's marked. Render.
Hey guys, I just want to quickly say something. Thank you for watching. This is the first video I've done explicitly with commentary, with a little bit of gameplay, as you saw. I've never done a top 10 list, I've never reviewed a game, I've never done anything of this sort, so this is the first time for me, but I do want to take YouTube a bit more seriously from now on, and if you saw this and have a type of video that you would like to see me do, please let me know in the comments, or if there's anything that you would have made different in this list, also let me know. If you liked the video, I would very much appreciate a like, maybe even subscribe if you like it. I never do these for money, at least not now. I just do this for the enjoyment, and I hope that you got enjoyment from this. Thank you for watching.